Okay, so I will teach you how to do a really basic strike throw mix-up. Um, Strike throw mix-ups usually start with a hit confirmable attack, and so luckily Kai has one, and it's going to be 5k 6p, and off this 2 sequence alone, you can just cancel it into Dear Claude if it hits, and have a combo, and if it doesn't, then you can just kind of back off and wait for them to block. Or, you know, you could just hit Dear Claude too. Again, depends on the character matchup if they know how to punish you or not for using this. Um, Basically, it starts with a hit confirm attack. So when you go in for a strike throw mix-up, you usually want to do an attack that has options. So 5k is actually the real MVP here, and 5k has this option of going into 6p for a counter hit, but not everyone's going to be waiting to get hit like that. So that's when you turn on guard. And so more often than not, a lot of people are going to be blocking. So if you notice that they're blocking, you can actually do something called, you're going to have to start resorting to throws because that's the thing that beats blocking, right? But you can start doing a thing called tick throws where uh, you basically do an attack before you throw, preferably something with lower recovery, so you can immediately run and get that throw off. So why this is good is because, or why it's such a real strategy and why it gets so many people is because uh, usually after the first hit, you've conditioned them to look for that second hit that they know you're gonna do, but in reality you're not, so you go for the throw instead. So that's a tech throw. You can do stuff like this, crouching light punch, down, was it 2k and whatnot, 5k. It's all the same thing. So now this is where the mix-up actually occurs here. So most people are going to notice that you've started to throw them after 5k. And so the first thing that most people do is that they'll try to start mashing to stop you. So a realistic mash is like someone's 2p, which is tends to be their fastest ones. And so now you notice that I'm too negative to be able to, like, from a blocked 5k, I'm too negative to be able to come up and throw. I just did it right there, but that's because they whiffed their attack. Oops, wrong one. Right, so I'm getting smacked the whole time. So uh, the mix-up here, and again, why 5k is such a good button in using the strike throw mix-up is that 5k can be canceled into one of his target combo or command normals. So earlier we were using 6p for the counter, for the hit confirm, but he also has 6 heavy, this one right here, and so this one is a good way to get the strike off and get a counter hit because it starts a big combo. So you'll see right here, right? So he blocked the 5k. He assumes that a throw is going to happen, but instead, and he starts mashing because this is all happened very fast. Like there's no way that someone can like block the 5k and reactively be like, oh snap, I blocked it. Now I'm going to mash. Was it because usually the throw is too fast for that to happen? So in the same sense, was it that no one can react to you starting the swing of 6 heavy? So it's a mix-up. It's a reads-based mix-up. It's not something reactionary. Um, People will have to truly guess in order to be able to block both options, um, or to block an option. So anyway, 6 heavy. So 6 heavy on counter hit is pretty good, especially for Kai, and in the corner because you actually get a huge combo from it. So I think it's like something like, oh no, it's not that. What's the combo? Oh, there you go. It's like that. And then you can do whatever you want. Boom. Big damage, big knockdown, state transition, the whole works. You can also, there's a lot of different combos you can go with this, but that's the one that I'm using. You can just break it normal. But anyway, so this mix-up, as you can tell, is very deadly because one option uh, gets you a big combo, and the other one gets you like a throw, which will actually keep them on their toes, and they will be forced to guess. We mentioned a little earlier that there is a way to beat both options. It's I wanted to put an asterisk mark on that because in this game, I don't know why, but they made Dragon Punch invulnerable moves be able to, like, you can throw them if you're fast enough. So here we go. Let's try this. Volcanic Viper. Okay. So I'm gonna do 5k, and he should just Volcanic Viper. Oh no, wrong one. Okay, here we go. 5k Volcanic Viper. But if you're fast enough, and depends on which move, you can throw them out of it. I don't know why they did this, but basically, some invulnerable moves, at least the ones without the meter being used, are not throw invincible, so you can throw them. Yeah, if you're looking at the reversal message, that message only shows up if you've done a special move as fast as you possibly can, like on frame 1. The only time this doesn't work is basically there's only so many moves that are truly invulnerable, and so I know for Soul his super is truly invulnerable, so I'm throwing right now. So it just doesn't work. Well, that might seem scary, but the thing is that these fully invincible options tend to use 50 meters. So if you notice that they don't have 50 meter, then you don't have to worry about that option being in play or something you have to consider as part of your offense. And also it it depends on the person's execution, because that motion itself is kind of complicated, so they'd have to do it like pretty darn fast in order to be able to like react to doing it. The bot is doing it because it's a robot. Players also can do it, but that's because they had a read already on you that like, oh man, this guy's gonna throw me, and this is my only throw invulnerable move. So that guy was gonna like do it no matter what you were gonna do, whether you're gonna block or do something tricky or actually go for the throw that he was looking for. So what I'm saying is, it's possible that you have to worry about such things, but I think we also talked about how in the range of possibilities, there's only so many like ones that you actually have to worry about, because those are the realistic options that a player will do or not do. So anyway, that's the StrikeThrow Mixup. But I wanted to also talk about was it about 5k in general. So I've used 5k as an example because it's a really good one, and you should be using it realistically. Like in an actual match, this is what you should actually be using as a plan of attack. 5k was it? 5k can be hit confirmed, it can be frame trapped, and it can also start like your throw mix up right here. So it's overall a very good one. Also, it's a low. It's called a standing low because Kai is standing, but it's still low attack, so they have to protect it with their feet or crush walking. This also opens up to, if you're really cheeky, if you do 5 dust, because this is an overhead, so you can do low overhead, and that will combo. You'll notice that the bot is forced to block high because that's the only way you can block this move. So 5k has a lot of options, but it does get a little stale because eventually, let's say you like played a long set against someone, like it's like a first to 25. Most people will understand that, like, oh man, this guy's using 5k to attack. I should be. That's when I should know. I should be ready to guess at like after a block of 5k. So sometimes you have to mix up your options, or you can start the offense in a different way. So, for example, if you get a knockdown and you did, how am I going to do this? Oh, we'll do it like this. So if you get a knockdown, you can usually get a meaty charge stun edge if you start up immediately after the throw. So who's to say that you can't start your throw mix-up? Oops, I guess it was the game. But who's to say you can't start your throw mix-up right from this post-charge stun edge? What I'm saying here is that I'm effectively using the charge stun edge being blocked as my 5k in that 5k StrikeThrow Mixup. So instead of throwing, you can go for immediate 6 heavy, or you know, you can go for the throw right after. You don't have to always start with 5k to start a throw, the strike throw mix up. Being able to vary your option like that will take you far. But what I'm saying here is that your strike throw mix up is essentially tied to specifically your 5k. You can use other options. So another one is close slash. Close slash is really good because Kai's close slash just hits in a very tall range, so it's very difficult for people to jump out of this. Um, and it also has similar Gatling options like your 5K, so you can hit confirm this, right? And you can go for like a strike throw mix up into a counter hit 6 heavy. That's 5 heavy. That's 6 heavy. But the issue here is that unlike 5K, it has it deals more block stun, and so that might be an issue when you try to go for a throw mix-up because and also more pushback. I've heard about that. It deals more block stun, and so where that comes into an issue is that let's say you wanted to go for let's say you wanted to go for that counter hit like this, right? But you wanted to use it with close slash. The issue is if you do it too early, or if you're doing 6 heavy too early, you'll actually create what's called a true block stun. That means that between the hit of close slash and 6 heavy, there was no gap in between to let the opponent actually swing. And so, despite them, like if you're an actual player, you can mash after blocking the first close slash. You can mash punches, but it won't come out because your character just has not exited block stun because it was gapless. So in that case, you would actually have to delay. You would need to delay it, but it's gonna depend on your timing. But that's the only way to introduce a gap in between. Like you can still like go for the throw afterwards, but you'll notice that if you're too late on it, you can get mashed out yourself. If you're too early, then it's going to be a true block stun and there's no real mix-up behind it. So it's again, you could still use it. It's still a pretty strong option, but it's got nuances to it. Like it has too much block stun to it and whatnot. But this is way more useful if like someone try to like if someone try to jump out of your mix-up. So let's say that let's say you knock this guy down, and so after having it, so as soon as this guy gets up, he's gonna just jump. He's going to jump like the whole time, right? But if I meaty with 5k, if I did a true meaty, they would get clipped. Like say they would not be able to leave the ground. But let's say you're not so good at the meaty timings. Close slash is really good because again, it's so tall that they'll have to face the actual mix-up if you're not so good at meaty timing. Not that bad. Like that. So it still caught them before they left the ground. But usually when you throw someone, Kai's best option is usually heavy stunnage or charge stunnage. They're synonymous. Because it just has you it makes them block forever, so you can actually attack them the whole time, or it gives you a lot of time to approach and start your mix-up wherever you want to. Speaking of the reward, I mentioned in the corner, if you get the counter hit, you can go for a big combo. But sometimes a lot of times you're not going to be in the corner, so it's going to be an issue when you get that hit because you might not go, or you're not going to be able to go for that whole combo that I just did. Let's take off jumping real quick. Okay. So you're going to have to learn the conversions of what you can and cannot get. But essentially, your strike throw mix-up is enhanced if you get the guy to the corner, just because the rewards are greater. On the mid screen, however, if you notice, this is the only one I know, but like no matter what you really do, you're not gonna get that much of a combo here. This is the best thing that I know that Kai has to settle with is that you can do for a Future Arc and immediately do this, and that automatically does like a, was it? After the Future Arc, you can immediately just start charging up your stun edge. So that ensures like that it's a meaty hit and that you'll be able to follow up on it because they'll have to be blocking. I mean they could, if you're just for the sake of curiosity, if you did Dragon Punch like right there, it would be very useless because I mean you're so far away, or the person attacking is so far away, and you can just nothing's gonna hit basically, and you can also punish that. Okay, I missed my punish. That was horrible. And you know, doing into whatever you want. I actually don't know Kai combos that well, but uh, basically, you should also think about your screen situation on when you should go for certain attacks, because that also might help you in trying to determine what mix-up you should go for. And also if your opponent is more worried about it, because you get less of a reward on counter hit 6 heavy in the mid screen, maybe you could be more willing to go for the throw mix-up instead, or the throw option instead. I gotta really stop this guy from smacking me, because you know you're not gonna get too much damage just from getting the counter hit option. However, once you put them in the corner, maybe you should start going more for the counter hit option, because you can get a bigger reward from this. But regardless of the situation, you're gonna have to adapt to what option they've been doing, and you want to take note on like how, like the result of what happened like from your attempt. Like if I got mashed out a lot because I kept going for the throws, then maybe you should start doing more counter hit attempts. And if he's blocking like the whole time, then maybe you should go for more throw attempts. It's pretty, it's just as simple as that, really. Um, you'll just have to take note, very, um, like with, like you really want to take note, because there's not a lot of opportunities that you're gonna get this strike throw mix up on. You know, there's not many times where you'll actually be able to force the opponent to actually let you run up and 5k and whatnot. Most of the time when you're fighting someone, it's gonna be more fighting to get that advantageous position for the one time you can go for the mix up, rather than like you're gonna be doing this the whole time. Um, so yeah. Anyway, strike throw mix up. That was pretty much it. Trying to remember if I like forgot anything. Oh yeah. Okay. Um, so sometimes you actually want to take note that sometimes, even though you go for the mix-up and it failed, maybe there's still some way to continue the attack. So the easiest way, so for example, if I go for this and nothing happened on block, you can still like um, you can still go for like a cancel and whatnot to keep attacking. They might get hit by it, maybe, or the most obvious way to continue attack is with the use of meter. So you can do stuff like Direct Clot, but Roman cancel, and then maybe go for another one. Go for another mix-up immediately. Oops, that was wrong. Go for it again. So basically, it's a round 2 of mix-up, if that makes sense. Sometimes you don't. Your character may have options that are not tied to Roman canceling, like because you don't have enough meter, and maybe you can go for a different type of way to keep attacking. So for example, Future Arc is a pretty good one, because Kai's Future Arc is actually plus on block. So you can still keep going. The only issue here is that Future Arc, during the whole time you're going upside down, flipping, you're actually vulnerable to attack. So the usage of it is going to depend on whether your opponent is good enough to catch you on or in hitting you before the Future Arc actually connects with them. But if you throw it in every now, like if you throw it once, like every now and then, it'll be hard for people to really kind of keep track of like where your offense is going. Speaking of Future Arc, the post block Future Arc situation I've mentioned is plus, so Kai can attack before anything can actually happen, or you have a head start on frames before you can actually attack. Oops. Maybe not. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's slightly plus. You can use that hit alone to conduct yet another strike throw mix-up because from... Oh, wow. Ow. What is going on? I know it's more plus if you electrocuted them, right? So that's something to take note of, right? So that works. I don't know the combo. But stuff like that, your character may have more options, like Electrified Fuja Arc can help, right, as we just shown earlier. So it's going to depend on your character. The most universal ways is to just use Roman Cancel to help you out here. So that's another use of Roman Cancel that's not related to comboing, but it could be a way to extend your offense. Which is pretty good because once again, I think I mentioned it a little earlier because most of the fight is going to be you trying to get to this position where you can conduct a mix-up. So once it'll be a wise decision that once you get them locked down for that option, to try to keep extending your turn of attack so you can keep going. So anyway. Yeah, so that's your basic StrikeThrow mix-up. I went through a lot and maybe a little more than what I should have, but that's what you want to know on how hit confirming and tick throwing and all that comes together. So yeah. Oh, I guess one more thing. If you're wondering about like, okay, well, I just learned like a whole bunch of combos about like, doing like this massive damage. When am I ever gonna use those? Most of the time, like big combos are usually relegated to be like punish combos, so therefore they're there for like when you have like a huge opportunity, and not for your kind of like day-to-day. Well, day-to-day is not the right word, but like your more obvious advantage, or not obvious. What am I saying? Um, More like realistic hits that you're gonna get, like off of a 5K or so. Um, So yeah, you want to leave those kind of combos too. So you'll learn two types of combos essentially. One for punishing, as much damage as you can get because it's a guaranteed. Because you're gonna get a guaranteed hit, and you want to maximize your chance. And one of them is gonna be for when you get like a small hit, so you can start off something. For example, or just for I guess one last example, is that off 5K. Was it? This doesn't do a lot of damage, but what's really good about it is that you can cancel into charge Sun Edge, and that can... Wow, that flew by completely. You have to do it late. And that can start... That's a way to, kind of like get your ball rolling into a StrikeThrow mix-up that could lead into more damage. Because it's not really the... So in these kind of hits, it's not the damage that you're really looking for, it's the situation that you want afterwards. And then from here you can attack and whatnot. That's also my Discord. So yeah, those are last little bit there was ways to get yourself in a position to StrikeThrow mix-up, and then the rest of what I heard talk about earlier was the StrikeThrow mix-up itself. And that's about it.